Hello guys, I'm Denis and I'm from far east of Russia, from Vladivostok. And in this issue, I want to tell you about history of Kherson. I think it will be very interesting now in daily life in our time, because you know all situation about Kherson, about Ukraine, about Russian and Ukraine, and it's very loud topic in this day. So guys, let's get started. Russian Empire era. City was founded by decree of Katerina the Great on 18th June 1778 on the high bank of the Dnieper as a central fortress of the Black Sea Fleet after the Russian annexation of the territory in 1774. The city was established in place of the Russian-built fort of Skonce, St. Alexander, which existed at least since 1737 and also served as one of administrative centers of the Zaporozhian siege and run by local Cossacks. The fort was built during the Russo-Turkish War and improved some 30 years later. Before 1737, in place of Kherson and Fort St. Alexander, all the maps show a settlement of Bolsheviks which carries Ukrainian-like transliteration. 1783 saw the city granted the rights of a district town and the opening of a local shipyard, where the hulls of the Russian Black Sea Fleet were laid. Within a year, the Kherson Shipping Company began operations. By the end of 18th century, the port has established trade with France, Italy, Spain, and other European countries. Between 1783-1793, Poland's maritime trade via the Black Sea was conducted through Kherson by the Compania Handlowa Polska. In 1791, Potemkin was buried in the newly built St. Katerina's Cathedral. In 1803, the city became the capital of the Kherson Governorate. Industry, beginning with brewery, tanneries, and other food and agricultural processing, developed from the 1850s. In 1897, the population of the city was 59,076, of which, on the basis of their first language, almost half were recorded as Great Russian. During the revolution of 1905, there were workers' strikes and an army mutiny, an armed demonstration by soldiers of the 10th Disciplinary Battalion in the city. Soviet era. Early Bolshevik period. In the Russian Constituent Assembly election held in November 1917, the first and last free election in Kherson for 70 years, Bolsheviks, who had seized power in Petrograd and Moscow, received just 13.2% of the vote in the governorate, the largest electoral bloc in the district, with 43% of the vote, was an alliance of Ukrainian Socialist Revolutionaries, Russian Socialist Revolutionaries, and United Jewish Socialist Workers' Party. The Bolsheviks dissolved SR-dominated assembly after its first sitting and proceeded to force from Kiev the Central Council of Ukraine, whose response to the Leninist coup had been to proclaim the independence of the Ukrainian People's Republic. But before the Bolsheviks could secure Kherson, they were obliged to cede the region under the terms of the March 1918 Treaty of the Brest-Litovsk to the German and Austrian-controlled Ukrainian state. After the withdrawal of German and Australian forces in November 1918, the efforts of the UPR to assert authority were frustrated by a French-led Allied intervention, which occupied Kherson in January 1919. In March 1919, the Green Army of local warlord Ataman Nikiforov Grigorev ousted the French and Greek garrison and precipitated the Allied evacuation from Odessa. In July, the Bolsheviks defeated Grigorev, who had called upon the Ukrainian people to rise against the communist impostors and their Jewish commissars, and had perpetrated pogroms, including in the Kherson region. Kherson itself was occupied by the counter-revolutionary Whites before finally falling to the Bolshevik Red Army in February 1920. In 1922, the city and region was formally incorporated into the Ukrainian SSR, a constituent republic of the Soviet Union. The population was radically reduced from 75,000 to 41,000 by the famine of 1921-1923, but then rose steadily, reaching 97,200 in 1939. In 1940, the city was one of the sites of execution of Polish officers and intelligentsia committed by the Soviets as part of the Katyn massacre. World War II and post-war period. Further devastation and population loss resulted from the German occupation during the Second World War. The German occupation, which lasted from August 1941 to March 1944, contended with both Soviet and Ukrainian nationalist underground cells. The Kherson district leadership of the OUN was needed by Bogdan Bandera, brother of OUN leader Stepan Bandera. The Germans operated a Nazi prison and the Stalag 370, prison of war camp in the city. In the post-war decades, which saw substantial industrial growth, the population more than doubled, reaching 261,000 by 1970. The new factories, including the Komintern shipbuilding and repairs complex, the Kuibyshev ship repair complex, and the Kherson cotton textile manufacturing complex, one of the largest textile plants in the Soviet Union, and Kherson's growing grain exporting port, drew in labor from the Ukrainian countryside. This changed the city's ethnic composition, increasing the Ukrainian share from 36% in 1926 to 33% in 1959, while reducing the Russian share from 36 to 29%. The Jewish population never recovered from the Holocaust visited by the Germans, accounting for 26% of residents in 1926. Their number had fallen to just 6% in 1959. Okay guys, it was issue about history of Kherson. Write below your opinion about this history of this town. I think that each town, each city in our world has numerous interesting stories and very big history. Also guys, please tell me in section with comments, do you want to see sequel of this history about Kherson, sequel with in independent Ukraine from the end of 20th century to our days. Also, of course, like this video guys and subscribe on my channel, then don't skip next interesting and useful issue. Okay guys, bye for now, see you next time.